For those of you who don't follow it or may not remember it, one of these really evil people in the online world, out of whole cloth, make up this story that John Podesta and I are running a child trafficking ring in the basement of the Comet Pizza Parlor.
By the way, there is no basement.
Yeah, there is no basement on that. But if you migrate that crazy story to Facebook posts, there are people who will believe that, including this very unfortunate young man in North Carolina, believing that he was on a mission because he saw it on Facebook, he saw it in other places online, he saw it in, quote, news outlets, and so he was there on a mission of rescue. People could have gotten killed.
Tonight, a terrifying moment. Authorities say a man with an AR-15 opening fire after police say he showed up at a family pizza joint.
Welch drove 6 hours from Salisbury, North Carolina to self-investigate
a conspiracy theory called Pizzagate.
Viciously phony rumors that the pizza joint was the base for a child abuse ring using underground tunnels led by Hillary Clinton and her campaign chief, John Podesta.
This is insane.
No one was hurt, but this became an alarming consequence of a growing online phenomena, fake news.
The police say there is no sex trafficking conspiracy, but millions read about it on dozens of websites, including one called Danger and Play. Danger and Play is written by Michael Cernovich.
All media is narrative, and we are in a war of narratives. There is a story about me. There is a story that I am just a very mean, awful, nasty troll. Is that the totality of who I am? No. Have I been mean before in the past? Yes.
Here's Hillary's handler and here's Hillary collapsing.
That's a narrative about me. I view it more in terms of sort of pro wrestling.
Bill Clinton is a rapist! Bill Clinton is a rapist!
And if people are going to view you as the heel or the bad guy, you just have to play up into that role.
Assault! They're assaulting me! They're attacking me!
And that's what I've done, is I've recognized that people were going to misinterpret me, completely twist my words out of context, in many cases fabricate things, and I can either spend all of my day explaining why that isn't true, or I can just embrace that heel role that you would as a pro wrestler. My name is Mike Cernovich, and I'm a journalist, author, and filmmaker. That's amazing. All right, so yeah, I just texted Scott Adams, which is, hey Scott, my latest film is on fake news, and one area we wanted to cover was the role cognitive bias is playing fake news, as well as your two movies theory. Would you be in for an interview discussing this? So I think Scott will do it. But that would be what we would want to talk to him about.
And he's in the Bay Area, right?
Yeah, he's in the Bay Area.
I am Scott Adams. I'm the creator of the Dilbert comic strip. I'm a trained hypnotist and have studied persuasion for decades. In persuasion, there's a thing called framing. It's how you think about a situation. People can frame things very differently, and skilled persuaders are especially good at it, so it's something I'm trained to do. Whoever gets there first, it's tough to get that out of your head. So going first makes a big difference. I've started doing a lot of live streaming on Periscope, and when there's a big story, I can be live to the world within minutes. I just pick up my phone and I'm live to the world. And the framing that I put on things, I'm quite aware of the fact that because I'm both persuasive by training and I'm first, that my framing is exceptionally sticky. A lot of what we see as fake news is two movies playing on one screen. So if you took a bunch of the people on the right and a bunch of the people on the left and put them in the same theater and said, watch this movie, and when they left, they would come out with completely different ideas of what they had just watched, even though they'd watched exactly the same thing.
The director of controversial documentary The Red Pill is in Australia to promote her film, which has sparked protest.
It's really quite an experience to have fake news written about you personally, and it's happened to me a number of times, usually in the form of somebody is imagining what's in my dark soul, and they imagine I hate something. Almost always, that's completely off base. Until it happens to you, and you see it repeatedly, you can't really understand how powerful the fake news is, how much it changes, real people's lives, and how widespread it is.
Oh, fake news.
I don't view you as a subject matter expert on fake news. You're a subject matter expert on you.
Yes.
And what the media has done with you.
And I think people who have been printed in the media a lot can start to identify who is fake news because they know their true story more than anyone, right. And they can see who's not telling the truth. When I was 21, I enlisted my mother as my producer and camerawoman, and we hit the road filming and made our first film, Daddy I Do, which looked at women's rights. And that film was really embraced and supported by Planned Parenthood. They funded a Northwestern screening tour of the film and flew us out, and we did a bunch of screenings and had dinner parties, and it was wonderful, and it was really supported in feminist circles. So we had a lot of success, and everyone was saying that that I had a bright future as a filmmaker because of that film. And then my second big feature film was about LGBT rights. And then I made a slew of short films mostly about women's issues. And that was kind of my brand. That was my reputation. And I had a lot of support in that.
So Act 1, Cassie J goes to Hollywood. Act 2, everybody loves Cassie. Let's go to Act 3.
Okay.
A controversial documentary on the men's rights movement has had screenings in Melbourne cancelled after a petition claimed the film was misogynistic propaganda.
Misogynist propaganda, anti-women.
It is absolutely a propaganda film. It has made up its mind.
Her name is Cassie J, and she's made a lot of people very, very angry.
You don't really question their views in the film.
Did you see the film? Why didn't you ask him about that?
I did ask them about that.
I mean, aren't generalisations like that dangerous?
Because your publicist wouldn't send us the full thing.
I sent you the screener link actually to the full film.
She doesn't actually do the research.
But many of the film's backers are MRAs.
About men here. This is just a conversation where we want to talk about men and boys problems for just 5 minutes.
All right, Cassie, we're out of time. We'll have to leave it there, but thank you very much for joining us.
Initially, I thought I was going to be making a film exposing men's rights activists as misogynists, rape apologists, women haters, trying to turn back the clock on women's rights. And after that year of filming 44 people, I realized that the film I thought I was going to make was not the truth of the story I got. I didn't change my views on gender equality. I actually expanded my views on gender equality, that we should consider men in the equation. But they wanted to make it seem like I was against women's rights. I mean, even some of the interviews I did on Australian news, the lower third where they would say the title of the episode they're doing, one of the titles was "Filmmaker changes her views on gender equality to inference that I am now against women's rights," which couldn't be further from the truth. But the project in Australia, they put together a video package setting me up as a monster. And in their graphics, they said the Red Pill movie was funded by men's rights activists.
But many of the film's backers are MRAs.
And it's just this little soundbite in an effort to discredit my entire, last 4 years' work. I did a Kickstarter campaign. Everyone knows no one has creative control if you're a Kickstarter backer. There are a minority of men's rights activists, a minority of feminists, and mostly people who didn't identify as either. And, moving forward with my career as a filmmaker, I don't know how this smear campaign will have impacted my future opportunities. When I started to see the media going after me personally, like on the direct attack, trying to take down my credibility and my reputation. I felt cheated and lied to for my entire previous life before I became this public figure with the smear campaign. I feel like, how can I have trusted anything they've ever said about all these other people who I've seen smeared in the media before, and I believed what the mainstream media said about them.
First tonight, our report on the incendiary radio host, Alex Jones.
He's known for promoting wild conspiracy theories.
Over the years, his YouTube channel has racked up 1.3 billion views. He has millions of listeners and the ear of our current president.
Your reputation's amazing. I will not let you down. You will be impressed, I hope.
According to his own counsel, he is playing a character.
But the idea that Jones doesn't necessarily believe everything he says may take some of his fans by surprise.
He produces this show from his basement.
Broadcasting worldwide, I'm your host, Alex Jones. So what is the state of our world today? The quickening, the intensification, the insanity, the wars. Why is Alex Jones in a movie about fake news? In fact, I bet when this film comes out, they're going to have reviews saying, ha ha, look at the filmmakers. To cover fake news, they talk to the king of fake news. Wait a minute. Even if that was true, you'd want to talk to the king of fake news.